Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about how cell phones have unleashed hell on the earth. And they have. They really have. This touches everything that we experience. Yes, this absolutely is a dominant factor why narcissism is as rampant as it is today. And I'm going to get into a lot of stuff. I made a list today, so I am sort of following a script only because there's a lot of things I want to touch upon. So, cell phones are the biggest blessing and the biggest curse, along with the internet, and they're connected because you access the internet anymore predominantly via your cell phone. And this has absolutely unleashed toxic nightmare on the earth. And most of you guys already understand why this is. Some of you are thinking, my cell phone's so important, it's so convenient. It is convenient, and that's the problem. It's convenient for everything, including all the disgusting, depraved practices that human beings are now unleashing upon each other. It's exacerbated everything that's already been in people. And so relationships are broken daily because of the smartphone, the cell phone. Narcissists are created daily because of the smartphone. And the smartphone really is most people's third arm. And the narcissist they live via this thing. It literally is their oxygen. The cell phone is their oxygen. You can say supply is, yeah, but the cell phone is the means to the supply. Without that thing, they're toast. So I want to talk today about several things that go into this. Why specifically, first of all, is the cell phone unleashing hell? Well, you have instant access to all social media. You have instant access to dating apps. You have instant communication with other people. And yeah, I've been talking about this a lot because we're talking about the root cause of why narcissism is so bad and why the society is so narcissistic and why things are so messed up. Thank the cell phone for that because it's got 80-90% to do with why it is, in my opinion. You can access so many people on tap. It's supply on tap, on demand. And you know what? The narcissist does this an unbelievable amount. But any of us could actually do this. If you or me, you or I should say, wanted to get on a couple dating apps and start inboxing people on social media and start to try to communicate with as many people as we could do it easily do it. If we wanted to play the narcissist game, we could have two, three, four, five people texting us, another half a dozen on the dating apps we're messaging, a couple more on social media platforms messaging. It could literally be a firestorm of us all the time. And we could be dating all kind of people and talking to all kind of people and leading folks on and doing all the things that are possible. It, it's right there. The difference is people like us don't want to do it. We don't live our lives that way. The narcissist does because they don't care. They have no moral compass. They're dark, depraved, and they'll flat out tell you that. They'll tell you directly that there's darkness in them and all manner of things. Go back a few videos ago, the insane things that narcissists say. If you don't believe me, go back and check that one out. So, this instant access to all of this, to the social media, the supply on tap, this smorgasbord, this ever long buffet of things that you can get into, what specifically has it done? Well, here's some things. First one is simple as it sounds. It's huge. The ability to be texting multiple people and anyone we want at any given time. So I'm not the type to be talking to a bunch of people at the same time. I don't do that stuff. I never have. I never will. I mean, romantically. It's not going to occur. It's not right. It's cheating at some level when you're doing that. But even I have times where my phone is blowing up. It's family, it's friends, it's church, it's whatever it is. We have all experienced that. Now, can you imagine if you wanted to, like the narcissist, have three or four or five different romantic interests at the same time? I wonder to myself, guys, how these people even juggle it. How do they even balance this out? Yes, they're master manipulators. They've got it probably down to a science. They've got hidden apps. They've got this person on silent, this person to not have notifications, this person's deleted for a period of time, this person's ghosted or blocked. I mean, but how do they even juggle it? And they do get caught. They often do get caught. You'll be sitting maybe on a date with somebody, and they might have a message come in while you're sitting next to them that says, good luck to you. I wish you all the best. I'm sorry it didn't work out with us. And you're like, well, you're sitting on a date with me, and clearly you've been dating some other person this whole time. May or may not have happened to me. I don't know. Figure that one out. The point is, these are the everyday practices. People, I don't know how they juggle it. So, but they do. So imagine that at any given time, society can have this wonderful invention, this texting machine. I'm gonna pull mine out for reference. They can sit there and have this thing, and at any given time, it's there's Jason, there's Eric, there's Brian, there's John, Jason, Tim, and most of the time you can't figure it out. You don't know that they're doing this. You don't know that the male that you're with. Oh, there's Janice, Tiffany, Amber. This is the way society works. If you are starting to talk with a new person, you have to assume 90 to 95% of the time that person's already communicating with other people romantically. It's just a given anymore. It's just a given. There are occasions when you can meet somebody that truly is a real one and you get to know them a little bit and you think, you know what? I'd be shocked if they were doing that. They're just not they're just not like that. They're more like me, they're not doing it. But 95% of the time they are. When have you ever been able to do this? Think back in human history. To be able to actually communicate romantically with all kind of people all the time without anyone else really knowing it. They're all in the dark. Brad and Jason and John and Andrew and Steven and Eric and Brian and all of these people are in the dark about one another. That is impossible without the cell phone. It's impossible. You can fire these text messages back all the time. This also makes it possible. Do I have this one? I do, so I'll wait. We'll move on to the next one for now. I'll try not to get too worked up, guys. I've been passionate about this stuff because it irks me. Another thing it does, go back to my last video about ghosting. Ghosting is now the new norm in human behavior. It's just what people do. So the cell phone is fundamentally what makes it possible to ghost people all the time. Sure, you could build up a relationship in the past before all this with somebody and you could just disappear from their lives. You're not calling them on the landline anymore, or you're not going to their home or stopping in to see where they work, or you could ghost them that way. A, that's much more strenuous. You're much less likely to do it because you didn't have all the different supply sources and opportunities that you used to have. But ghosting is something that can now be done to multiple people at multiple times. You can be a lot of these folks out there in our world, guys. They are ghosting somebody literally every day because they have a handful of romantic interests. And today I'm going to ghost this person and I'm going to give my attention to him and him. Today I'm going to ghost her and I'm going to give my attention to her and her and her. This happens every day. So oftentimes people are trying to build something with a person and they're wondering why they're getting intermittent communication. Why are they so hot and cold, on and off, high and low? They're all into me and texting and messaging, and then they're gone for like a few days, and then they're back. Guys, there's only one reason they're doing it. They have multiple people they're doing it with. when they are talking to you as much as they are blowing your phone up, that means they're ignoring someone else or some other people. And when they decide that they want to just pull away and vanish, it's never been anywhere near as simple as it is today. Because you can communicate with so many people at once, you can choose who you're going to ghost, who you're going to give your attention to. It never used to be this way. You had to make authentic contact to real people in real life. You had to go, you met people at school, you met people at work, you met people through events, you met people who were in your community, and you had to put time and effort. It was intentional. You don't have to do any of that anymore. The cell phone and the age is a conduit to the internet. The cell phone is our ultimate conduit to the internet. And the cell phone has allowed people to basically just do whatever the heck they want all the time, unbeknownst to everybody else. Think about how easy it is to do this. So let me move on as well to something past ghosting, which is right now my biggest issue, because you guys understand how rampant it is. Cheating. Here's another one. Anyone familiar with this channel understands that my least favorite thing on the face of the earth is cheating. I think it's the most degrading thing you can do to somebody. It's humiliating. It's embarrassing. It makes the person feel tiny. It is basically absolute mental and spousal abuse. If you're married, it's total abuse. And so cheating is hideous. I'm not going to pull punches about that. If you have cheated in the past, I hope you've repented of it. I hope you never do it again. But I don't understand how people get to a place where they're willing to literally go and have any kind of relationship, even just mental, but much less a sexual relationship behind their partner's back. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And I'm telling all of you guys, if you're dealing with a cheating person, you you have the ultimate reason to walk away. Respect yourself, appreciate yourself. Don't allow somebody to do that to you. Don't do it. But never before has it been so easy to cheat. That beautiful piece of equipment right here, this electronic hell, this thing makes it possible to do it any given time. Cheating has skyrocketed percentage-wise via the phone and social media. It is, I believe it, at last I looked for something I'm working on, I believe it is almost 60% roughly of relationships, extramarital affairs came about via internet, via social media, via, it used to be work. Work was the biggest one, still a big one. But now it's predominantly because of the cell phone. You can line as many people up as you want if you're that kind of person. When that your spouse goes to bed, guess what the narcissist and most people in society do today? They roll over. I'm getting texted right as I write this video. But they roll over and they grin ear to ear and they say, "My partner doesn't know it's time to talk to Johnny." Yep. Sorry, I've had to ignore him all day because I was with my husband. So now I can talk to him. You can line up a date. You can line up a meeting place. Or you can just have a good old mental affair. Just a good old mental affair behind your partner's back. Easy peasy. Unchecked, unchallenged. The only way the person would know is if they go through your cell phone when you don't know it. Most of these people, though, are hiding all of this, so you wouldn't find it anyway. Do you know what kind of distrust in one another the cell phone has created? People routinely wonder now when their partners, their spouses, their relationship partners' phone gets text messages, they routinely wonder now, who are they talking to? Who are you texting at 9:30 at night? Who are you texting at 10? Who was that? Who's blowing up your phone? This is the age of distrust we live in, and the only reason it exists is because of the cell phone. Do you realize what havoc this is? Cheating is one of the greatest things that the cell phone has enhanced. One of the biggest things that's seen a skyrocketing effect because of it. It's too effortless to be talking, to communicating with multiple people at multiple times, to find multiple people. You can do anything, the dating sites, and you can expand your reach from the dating app to be, you can be talking to people hours away. I know of people near me personally that are dating in Ohio that are dating people online that live in Alaska, which it's nonsense. That's nonsense. But the point is, you can be developing relationships behind other people's backs to the cows come home. Infinite, infinite choices. Never before. It was too obvious to cheat in the past. People still did it, but it was way harder and it was way obvious. You had to actually put yourself physically in the proximity of that other person. You had to arrange things very covertly, meet in hotels, I guess. I have no experience with it. I know what people do. Meet in hotels, meet people on their lunch breaks. You got to be sneaky with it. And the stakes were high and it was easy to get caught. Today, it's very difficult, if you're good at it, to get caught. Only through the cell phone is that possible. It's a godforsaken thing. Next up, triangulation. It's not as bad as cheating, but it's triangulation to me is cheating light. You're bringing someone else into your relationship. Usually, so the person knows it to make them jealous, but not always. The narcissist is a master at this. That's why when they can be dealing with all these people on their cell phone via text message or whatever, and they can just send out these very vague texts and say, good morning, or hello, sir, or whatever they want to say. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people got this. And they're all being unknowingly triangulated together. There, you can do this at will. So, guys, this is some of the stuff that takes place. It's incredible. It's incredible. So, another thing that happens: the cell phone has made people bored to tears with their interactions. They're tired of interacting with people. It's so boring that they have to deal with 20 people because the supply of one person, or the communication rather, the interaction of one person, isn't nearly enough. It's not good enough to have a faithful, committed, good individual in your life any longer for most people because the attention of one person can't stack up to the attention of 10. Even if those 10 people are not relationships or not even sexual or romantic, it's attention. Attention, attention, attention. Feed, 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 feed. And so it's made people attention whores and hogs. No one person, no one interaction is enough for them. That's the society we've created, and the cell phone has been instrumental in it. It's also made everything disposable. People feel like they can just get rid of you on a whim. Why? Because they've got 5 other people in their cell phone waiting for them to text. They've got 3 other people in that dating app. All they got to do is pull this thing out, and they've got people everywhere waiting on them. What value do any one of us have when that is the state of reality? All this speaks to the fact that you have only one hope. I and all of us have one hope. You better find a person that's really like-minded to yourself. All 3 of them that are out there. And hope that you come across one and hope that you strike it up. Because that's your only hope. Unless you want to deal with all this stuff. It makes it possible for endless attention, adoration. I won't spend more time, I already kind of touched this. But you can just simply get it from all directions. Boom, 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 boom. It's created people who are delusional. It's created people who think that the grass is greener everywhere. Nobody's good enough. I won't settle. Who does this sound like? The narcissist? Correct. Because the narcissist is almost everywhere now. Even people who aren't reprobates are very far down the narcissistic train and line. They do these things, even if they still have some love and empathy. They still do these things because that's the society we live in. Things also don't get started. This is reciprocal. We don't think of this one very often. Relationships are difficult to actually even get off the ground anymore because of the cell phone. Yeah. I know everything I just said about how it's endless and you can be talking to all these people, but oftentimes actually getting anything going with a person is also about impossible. Why? Because text messaging has become the primary form of communication. And text messaging usually fizzles out very quickly. There's only so much you can say on texting before you elevate things to talk to phone communication and seeing each other. So all these people build things via text and then they just plummet and fizzle out. Because we play these games now. There's all these games that even good people have to play with each other to a degree sometimes. Am I texting too much? Am I texting too little? Did that go over the right way? That's not what I meant. Did they take it this way? How long till we stop texting and like go out? How long do we have a texting stage? These are all questions that nobody ever had to answer before the last 15, 20 years. And it's now all the more worse over the last decade with the dating app. All that, because that throws confusion into it all the more. So even getting a relationship off the ground is now difficult because our primary method of communication is not just the cell phone, but texting on the cell phone. And texting is very limited. You don't get context. You don't understand when to do things, how long to do things, how much to text, how little to text. Do I send an audio message? Do I send a, what do I do? It creates so much confusion that people just live in this muddled reality anymore where it's hard to strike things up. It's hard to trust what the other person's doing. There's infinite options. Guys, is it any wonder why narcissism is so prevalent today on this planet? If you want the number one reason why it is, there's many. You could say godlessness. That's definitely crucial. Because if you know God, even with all these abilities on the cell phone, you're not doing these things if you're a true person of the Lord, a good person. But the second reason that this is prevalent is just the cell phone. The hell that it has unleashed on earth, the amount of broken relationships, misery, triangulation, cheating, scamming, manipulating. I'd even talk about scammers and cell phones. How many people have been robbed, lost everything, been taken to the cleaners because of cell phone scams? Man, oh man. So just to understand something, that what I explained here is just the tip of the iceberg. It's so much worse than I've even illustrated. Use your cell phone responsibly. You guys who are watching this channel probably are, but understand most people aren't. Most people you're going to interact with and deal with in this world, they're not. Say that someone gives you their number or you give them their number. Most of the time, not all, most of the time, understand that that meant nothing because that person is likely just playing games. They're likely talking to 5, 10 other people. Sometimes they're not. So I hope that this illustrates, guys, all the more why the cell phone has unleashed hell on the earth, and it has, and why things are such a broken mess, why relationships are so bad, hard to sustain, cheating is rampant. All of this is where it is. And understand that most, not the few, most people today are doing all of this stuff because it's right there. It's right there in front of them. Narcissists made, narcissists built every day because of these things. So just understand that when you're operating in this world, the cell phone is the ultimate double-edged sword, and the side that cuts is much sharper. So be aware of that when you're interacting with people, and find find a like-minded person. And if you can't find a like-minded person because there's about 3 of them out there, be alone. Be good on your own because it's not worth it. You don't want to be one of just a bunch of people that someone's dealing with. You don't want to do that. It's not worth it. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Drop comments below if you have things to say. I will come at you with another one soon. And until then, God bless.